Let's take a look at how you can anticipate the future by applying economic rules of the game to your power map. We know that climate can change a physical landscape. A river can freeze in winter, overflow in spring, dry up in summer. And in a similar way, your business landscape is also being shaped by recurring economic patterns. We call these economic rules of the game. There are 30 economic models you can use to anticipate how your business landscape is changing. Learning these will greatly increase your situational awareness, your ability to anticipate what might happen next, so you can better prepare for it. These rules are grouped into 6 categories, but for now, we're just going to look at 4 basic rules and show you how you can apply them to your maps. Firstly, let's recap how we make a power map. We're going to recreate a simplified version of the first such map made by Simon Wardley, a former CEO of a company called Photango. Back in 2005, Photango was an online photo company enjoying rapid growth as digital photography went mainstream. Their users had needs, and these became the organization's anchor, the focus of everything they did. Users needed a place to store, edit, and print their digital photographs online, and Photango used these components to satisfy those needs. A CRM, so users could access their photos and not somebody else's, a platform to run their software on, computers, a data center to store data safely, and a power source on which to run all the above. Connecting these together shows Photango's value chain, what they needed to do to satisfy their users' needs and create value. We now add in the all-important evolutionary axis, showing how the 4 stages that everything we do and how we do it evolves through. So now we can see how evolved each component was back in 2005. And this is the Photango map we'll use to show how we can anticipate the future by using the economic rules of the game. The first rule of the game is that your characteristics of components change as they evolve. For example, when a component first appeared on the left of the map, it was novel and uncharted. It was also exciting, as it had the potential to be a future source of value. Think of an early computer or the first mobile phones. But there was also a lot of uncertainty about these at first, which also made them high risk. However, as they evolved through supply and demand competition, moving to the right of the map, these components became more industrialized, stable, and measurable. Now there is more certainty about them, because we know what they're for and how to make them efficiently. These components therefore carry far less risk. But components on the right of the map also generate lower margins, as there's more supply in the marketplace. And this is the journey that everything we do, and how we do it, is going through. For example, the first electrical current was generated by the Baghdad battery in the 4th century. And over a period of 1500 years, electricity evolved to become the utility service we all use today. Once a component has become more industrialized, higher order systems can be built upon it, especially if that component is provided as a utility service like electricity. These give rise to new components like radios, televisions, or computers that were built using this reliable source of power as a subcomponent. And these higher order systems will also evolve and create new sources of value, which is the second rule of the game. If a component survives, it will eventually industrialize, becoming a platform on which yet more higher order systems are built. For example, computers were built on top of electricity, databases were built on top of computers, and machine learning is built on top of databases. That's why, if you launch a new business today, you don't start by building your own electricity generator or computers. You build on top of yesterday's innovations that have become today's industrialized platforms. A new business aims to create something new that is valued by potential customers, not to reinvent the wheel. Past innovations enable this, and that is why this is the third economic rule of the game. Unfortunately, many organizations try to resist this evolutionary process, especially those that are successful today. They don't want to risk their high-margin products becoming low-margin commodities. They're stuck behind barriers of inertia, focused on today's profits and bonuses. They resist change as long as they can. But the problem is, you can't fight against evolution. Even if you don't embrace the future, somebody will do it for you. This is what happened in the computing industry. In 2003, IBM, the industry leader at the time, argued that in the future they would supply computing power as if it was a utility, like electricity. Unfortunately for them, inertia was too strong and they continued to sell servers a product rather than offering a utility-like service like cloud computing. That left the door wide open for an industry outsider to walk in. Amazon launched its web services in 2006, providing the market with computing as a utility, on tap, like water or electricity, where you just pay for what you use. And unbelievably, none of the industry giants made a move against Amazon for 7 years. They simply gave Amazon the future. When Amazon launched EC2 in 2006, their market capitalization was 5 times smaller than IBM's. Within a decade, they'd overtaken IBM, and today Amazon is the giant others are trying to catch up with. So why did none of the big industry players respond for 7 years, giving Amazon time to take an unassailable position? Inertia. They'd convinced themselves, and they were convinced by others like McKinsey, even as late as 2009, that cloud was just a fad or a niche service. These giants simply couldn't see the landscape or anticipate how it was changing because they didn't have maps. They were playing the game blindfolded, and they were taking advice from those who were similarly impaired. But Amazon could see the landscape and understand how it would change. They embraced the future and made moves that led them to outcompeting entrenched giants in entirely new industries. And this is what a map, plus an understanding of the rules of the game, can give you: potential moves that others don't see. Once you see what's going on and anticipate how it's going to change, you can start to see multiple moves on where to attack the market. You can get closer to the customer by differentiating your product, but this can be an expensive game. You can try to out-innovate others, though this too is full of risk. Or you can look deeper into the value chain and make moves that enable you to capture the future and generate the monopoly-like profits that the likes of Amazon enjoy today. This is how just some of the 30 economic rules of the game change the competitive landscape we're all playing in. You don't have a choice about these rules. They're changing the landscape whether you want them to or not. But by using them, you can anticipate the future and start shaping it to your advantage. So if you'd like to learn how these economic rules would affect your landscape and see what moves you might make in response, go to powermaps.net and see what we can do for you.